Hey. Welcome. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. Liking and subscribing as you do, please. As soon as you have a chance, take your little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it like a car and drive. There's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. As I just did that, my mom was saying that my little cuz Alex, I know you watch the show. I know you're watching this show. I love you, cuz. Wish I could have seen you when the family all came together and stuff, but I was working my butt off. Anyway, though, besides all that, he loves the show, loves when I do that. Said he told my mom he couldn't get enough of that. There's all types of tasty and delicious politics to get ourselves into and to jump into. Alex, I gotta do it because it's tasty and delicious, sir. It's finger licking good. It's politics. Hey, it soothes my soul. Okay, it's good for what ails you, and it's not always positive. So it's wild that I find it comforting. But anyway, I love positive. That's just me. Let me go in and get into it. Enough about that. Let's talk about this. Number one thing on the chopping block is immigrants and immigration. Let's talk about it. Republicans sending immigrants to black neighborhoods to stoke fear amongst black people about immigration. Now, here's what's interesting. Me and my woman was talking about this. She does not follow politics like me at all, right? But she ended up bringing this up, and it was interesting to me how she connected the dots on it. Not even me. I have a whole lot of information on this, right? I've reported on this show about how your boy DeSantis, right, sent those immigrants, where was it? Oh my goodness. I think he sent them to Martha's Vineyard, right? And was expecting the people at Martha's Vineyard to be all upset and all that, because you know what I'm saying? That was his point of sending these immigrants to these quote unquote liberal places or whatever, so that they could be outraged and they could deal with it and they could see how there's an immigration problem. And that because now you got these people in your home or in your environment. But that's not what happened. People at Martha's Vineyard welcomed them with open arms, gave them places to stay, you know what I'm saying, helped them out. So that kind of backfired on him, but it was still a good little talking point, still a good little piece of political theater for already struggling DeSantis, because the guy's an idiot and he'll never be president. But at that time, he thought he had a shot, so he did that little buffoonery, and it was what it was. But see, stuff like that's been going on, and I totally removed that from the fear that the GOP has been trying to stoke about immigration. Now, if you do your due diligence, and me and my father went back and forth about this, he used to talk about the influx of immigration and talk about these Spanish gangs. And I say, Dad, why don't you Google it? Immigration has been on the downtick for a while. Now, I didn't Google it before I did the show right now, but you could Google it yourself, and I would bet the immigration is still on the downtick. The right uses it because it's fear-mongering, right? They're making white people think that brown people are coming to take their stuff, right? But they've even gotten slicker with it. Now they got brown people mad at these brown immigrants, right? Because I think I was watching a news shot on Chicago. I love Chicago. My boys is in Chicago. Wild Hunters from the Wild Hunters. Ray and them still repping the Wild. My boys. So there were some people in Chi-Town, right? And they were talking about how these immigrants are coming and they're taking all of our resources. They done moved them here to the hood, and now some of this food stamps and other stuff that was for people who are already poor and going through it in the hood, now it's going to immigrants. That's garbage. We can't do that. There's an immigration problem, of course. That's what you're going to say, right? If you poor and been getting government subsidies that you need to live, I'm not hating on them people at all. I go on record to this show and saying that the government needs to break more bread with the American people, but whatever. So let's say you're these people in need, and then you see other black or other brown people from other countries that don't even speak the language coming over, and now they're getting the resources that used to be set aside for you. You gonna feel some type of way about that, aren't you? But then if that happens, then when Trump goes out here and says immigration's a problem, and I'm the only person who can help you with this immigration. Look at Biden. He got the border going crazy. He got the border going nuts. Just letting people in. He just letting them in. And then I saw a commercial just recently where they were trying to say Sherrod Brown and Joe Biden signed a thing saying that immigrants should have Social Security and should be able to reap those benefits. I don't believe none of that. It's propaganda. But see, there are people who believe it. There are people who don't know they're from a hole in the ground. They hear this stuff and they run on it. On both sides. There are stupid liberals like there are stupid conservatives. But there's a lot of stupid people out here. And they hear talking points and they don't do an ounce of research. So that's what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you believe the words coming out of my mouth or not, please do 2 minutes of your own research. Please understand these talking points that a lot of y'all like to use. I hear people using talking points all the time. They don't even understand their own talking points. Because we happen to be in a country that rewards idiocracy. We happen to be in a country that rewards people being stupid and out of touch. But don't be one of these people, ladies and gentlemen. Because this is sad stuff that's going on, right? Because a lot of these immigrants are immigrants because they're in a country that America destabilized, right? We go over to their country, we get screwy with the people who run the place. We get screwy with their drug trade and all that other stuff. And when stuff goes topsy-turvy and people start killing people, they want to come here for asylum. We say, no, this is our safe place. We screwed up your home. This is our safe place. That's immigration, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. There that is. The GOP playing black people by making them think there's an immigration crisis. I could be wrong. Google it for yourself. Like I said, I didn't Google it today. I need to Google it today. Seems to change day to day. But I will bet you dollars to donuts, immigration is still on the downtick, and they want to send all these immigrants to the hood to tell the hood, oh, look, you got these other brown people going to take your resources. You better vote for Trump. Please don't fall for the trick. Please don't fall for the trick. I fear a lot of my brothers and sisters will, though. There's a brother right now. I can't remember his name. I'm gonna go in on this gentleman on the next show I have, and I hope that he gets wind of it, and I hope he want to talk, because I would love to get in his head and be like, how do you feel being used by the GOP? The new young black face of the GOP will talk about that, brother. If you've seen him, please do not fall for that garbage. More propaganda. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about the minimum wage. Let's talk about some pocketbook issues. You know what I'm saying? Some purse string issues. Minimum wage in Ohio. Servers say they don't want the $15 minimum wage in Ohio. That blew me away. When I read that, I'm not going to lie, I was straight up flabbergasted. Why would you be a waiter or a waitress and you wouldn't want a $15 minimum wage? I couldn't understand that. Okay. 1,000 tipped workers surveyed fear the $15 minimum wage would mean fewer tips and ultimately less income. Well, fewer tips, probably. Less income, I couldn't see how. Because now you're not relying on tips for your income. You're relying on the wage that you would be getting from your employer. Now, it's interesting that I read this article because just last weekend was what, ladies and gentlemen? Mother's Day, right? And me and my mom and my whole family went out to dinner at a Cheesecake Factory, the place that sisters say they don't want to go to. They too good for the Cheesecake Factory. But I think I spent like darn near $100 on me, my woman, and my son. Anyway, but sisters too good for the Cheesecake Factory. Anyway, so I went to Cheesecake Factory, and when they sent the bill, it had suggested tips, which is what they're doing these days. And the one was 18%, the other was 20%, and the other was 22%. I gave 18%. Now, usually in my day, me being an old man, it was always suggested that you tip 15%, right? But I went in and tipped the 18% because that's what they had on there, and that's what they were saying was the lowest tip that they thought you should tip. Why not? The lady gave good service. And then my parents bring this up. They're like, oh, a lot of people don't even believe in tipping and don't think you should tip because, employers should be paying these people a decent rate so they ain't got to live on your tips. Okay, that's true. But how about this, ladies and gentlemen? I say this on this show all the time. Urban politics, the mantra probably should be 2 things can be right at the same time. How about this? 100 things can be right at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. This is life. There's a whole lot of gray area. Ain't no black and white. So number 1. Should restaurants be paying these people a livable wage so that they can live and don't have to live off of tips, which is depending on the kindness of strangers, and we know strangers ain't that kind right now? Yes. But is there a problem with giving someone some money when they gave you good service because they didn't have to? No. So there you go. Both things are true at the same time. Do I think employers need to step up and fill in the gap here so these people don't have to necessarily rely on a person like myself having the kind-hearted human nature I should have and giving them some money because they gave me good service? But at the same time, let's pray that I am a good human being and I do know how to treat others with a little respect and a little dignity. And when someone gives me some good service, maybe I give them some money for that. Maybe I say, thank you, ma'am, sir. You did have to smile when you came over here. You did have to make sure that my cup always had water in it or soda or whatever I'm drinking. You did have to make sure that my son or daughter over here got a little sucker that y'all got at the front there that they missed coming in and make their day a little brighter. See what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with giving somebody a little something extra because they went above and beyond the call of duty or just did their job. Wherever I'm at, I get help and I get service. I always tell people what? Thank you. Because they didn't have to do that and they didn't have to do a good job. You got a job. And you know, sometimes you come in feeling like garbage, right? And you do a terrible job. Now, depending on your job, you probably don't work with people. Maybe you work in a factory and it's no big deal. You working with shum widgets. Who cares if you had a bad day and you was throwing them all over the place? But when you in customer service and you work with people, you having a bad day, it shows through. If you're able to hide that and still give other people a good day, and human beings are human beings. Everybody's having bad days. Everybody got bills to pay. Everybody got kids that's off the chain. Everybody got all that crap going on. But if you still was able to come in here and give me good service with a smile on your face, go on and break bread, ladies and gentlemen. Give that person a little something. And that's why I told my mom and dad. My mom and dad are in their 70s. So excuse them. They're old school. But there's that, right? So, but check this out. 1,000 tipped workers surveyed fear the $15 minimum wage would mean fewer tips and ultimately less income. I don't know. 93% of tipped workers are saying, keep it the way it is. I was reading this article when I read that. I'm like, who are these people that they are surveying? Because I know there's got to be a lot of tipped workers out there who are like, man, it'd be nice if we just could make the minimum wage because I mean, we rely on tips, and some nights are good, but some nights are bad, but a little bit more stability would be better. But they saying right here that 93% of tipped wage workers are saying keep it how it is. I don't know. I'm going to have to research that a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, if you know something about this, help your boy out. You in the pushback zone. Push back. If you know some waiters or waitresses who are like, man, I'm living on tips and I think it sucks, hit your boy Fizz Ed up and let me know if you got something there saying, man, I think it's awesome. And I am, hold on, I haven't finished yet. Hold on, let me keep riding. Let me keep reading. So there's a place called Raise the Wage, Ohio. They've been collecting signatures to get $12.75 an hour increases that would go up to $15 an hour in 2026. It would also get rid of Ohio's tipped wage. They claim that average servers in Ohio make $27 an hour and keep their tips. I don't know about that. I was wanting to Google that. We'll see what that's. But really, I need to go out here and talk to some servers, some waiters and waitresses, don't I? Because they claiming that waiters and waitresses are making $27 an hour. I've never heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. So I have to talk to someone who's in that business because I'm like, that's not bad. If they're making $27 an hour, I guess they would be like, hey, don't rock the boat. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hear that. But I don't know. I remember seeing a thing where Elizabeth Warren had talked about how her mother was a waitress, and I think she had two siblings, so she said her mother was a waitress and was able to raise a family of three and do it in a sufficient way on what a waitress was making in the 70s, 1973, 74, 75. So that's interesting, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? That just shows how inflation has, hurt everything and all that type of stuff. So I get it. Listen, restaurant owners say it will hurt an industry that's already struggling to come back after COVID-19 pandemic. I get that. They say that the 5% profit margin, and I think this goes really for small restaurants and mom and pops, will be gone if they are forced to spend it on wages. That's another good piece, ladies and gentlemen. So some of these small restaurants, a lot of Italian restaurants that are family owned and stuff, Beligiani's or whatever, a lot of those type of places will go under. They got a 5% profit margin. If they have to spend that, paying people $15 an hour, where that money coming from is coming from them. Now let's hold up. I'll save that for the end, but there's that, right? Okay. Raise the Wage Ohio has until July 3rd to get the signatures to get onto the ballot. Let's see what they're going to do. You've seen people around town trying to get signatures to raise the minimum wage. I always do it. I remember when the minimum wage kind of got raised for my field, which is ABA, which is being a rehabilitational behavioral therapist. It got raised at $15 an hour. And then I just started making more than that glory be to God, I'm in a field that really rewards talent. So in ABA, you know what I'm saying? When they see that you can shine or that you can really handle yourself with some of these more difficult kids, they pay you for that. Thank God for that. The agency or the school I happen to be at right now, they really value that because it was started by three people and two of them used to do my job a million years ago. And they really, you could tell by the way that they treat us, you know what I'm saying? Because they know how hard it is and they pay us as such, you know what I'm saying? And they treat us as such. So there's that. But a lot of industries are not that way. It's hard to be a waitress. It's hard to be a waiter, and I don't think they're getting paid sufficiently. Maybe I'm wrong. They talk about $27 an hour. I don't make $27 an hour. I don't make too much less than that. But I don't make $27 an hour. That's a lot. So I'm like, that make me want to be a server. What's going on, right? So I don't know. Anyway, well, no, hold on, not yet. Oh no, I did talk about that. We got till July 3rd. We're gonna see what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this space, as Rachel I would say, because I'll be reporting on that. Anyway, moving on to my last thing to talk about. Yeah, I got to get out of here because my time is drawing nigh, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Republicans versus protesting. You know the GOP hates protesting, right? They hate protesting. Why do they hate protesting? The right hates protesting. You know why? Because protesting shines a light on injustices. There be a lot of stuff going on, and the GOP, they love to do stuff in the dark of night because most of y'all are not paying attention. Most of y'all don't care about politics. Most of y'all don't care about laws or politicians or none of that garbage. You watching King of the Hill. You watching the Kardashians. You care about Young Thug and Gunner's trial. You do not care about the laws in your city. That's boring. You do not care about the laws of the government. That's boring. So these people know that, right? But when people start protesting, it's because something got under their skin. Something made them mad. Something got them so riled up, so incensed that now they're galvanized. Now they have to find other people to get together and say, oh, this happened to you? You see this injustice? Well, let's get together and go out here and shine a light on it. Let's hold up signs and tell people that this is going on. The GOP hates that. Well, I'm trying to pass laws in the dead of night that part of my friends screw people over. The last thing I need is some old liberals coming out here with signs talking about what it is. We almost got this passed. But these idiots ran out here with signs and got in front of news cameras, and now everybody and their mama cares about what we're doing. The GOP hates that, so that's why they don't like protesters. That's what particularly insults me and particularly pisses me off about the GOP is that they're always invoking the name of Dr. King. They're always talking about Martin Luther King this, Martin Luther King that. Man, I want to smack the taste out of some of these people. Don't talk about Martin Luther King because you're a racist and you don't care about King. What you want to do is, and that's what's crazy. You want to try and piggyback that goodwill. Get that out of here. You hate Dr. King because you know what Dr. King was? A protester. That's what he was. No, he was the Reverend Dr. Yeah, he was a reverend, but what did he do? He did protesting, and when you protest, you purposely want to go to jail. Martin Luther King got arrested a lot. They don't like him. They don't like him. They love invoking his name and his memory because it's attached to honor and respect as it should be. Because there's one man who, like U2 said, one man came in the name of love. Martin Luther King. But that's the reason why they don't like protesters. Protesting shines a light on things, and these guys are slick. They like to do their business in the dead of night. Shh, they low-key. They low-key. They got to be sneaky, right? So look, GOP hates protesting. Attorney General Dave Yost is a Republican. There's that. Okay. So threatening OSU students with a felony for protesting. What? Okay. It's an old, outdated law from 1953 makes it a felony to commit a crime with two or more people while wearing white caps, masks, or other disguises. Even a misdemeanor such as trespassing. During the pandemic, it became commonplace for protesters to wear masks, a practice that still holds till this day. Now, they were talking, well, let me finish reading this too, and then we'll just bring it all together. This anti-disguise law is a fourth-degree felony punishable by 6 to 18 months in prison and up to $5,000 in fines and up to 5 years community control. Community control, I don't know what that is. I think that's probation. Community control sounds like they're controlling you, but you're still in the community. That sounds like probation, right? Who ain't had no run-ins with the law? Anyway, check me out, ladies and gentlemen. Garbage. Yost is he's a shill of the right. He's a Republican. He just like the rest of these buffoons. They hate protesting and they hate protesters because it shines a light on ills that would usually just fall under the radar. So F him for this. He got the nerve to tell these students, oh, since you've been protesting, which is your American right, since you've been protesting, if it were not for protesting, ladies and gentlemen, I would not be able to walk through the front of a building today. If it were not for protesting, you would not have a 40-hour work week. You understand that? Protesting has gotten you every right that you have. Protesting is the voice of the people, and they're seeking to take it away. Mr. Yost is seeking to take it away. Trump is seeking to take it away. Don't let him. Don't be stupid enough to fall for the propaganda. Dave Yost, that's propaganda. Then he got the nerve to sit here and say, oh, I don't want to use the law, as a tool to hurt students because it's supposed to be, he even has some wording there, it's supposed to be used as a tool and not a sword. That guy's a jerk. Dave Yost is a buffoon and a loser. Tell him I said so. Because the smoke screen, bro, it sucks. It's garbage. There ain't no smoke screen. You hate protesting. You hate protesters because you hate a light being shined on your racism. You hate a light being shined on your ill will towards people who don't think like you, towards people who aren't conservative enough for you. That's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Please get hip. Please get hip to the propaganda around here because 2024 is coming and we got to vote. And unfortunately, we got to vote for the lesser of two evils. Please do not fall for these idiots holding water for Trump. Trump is a buffoon. He's an idiot. It's just like 2016. Ain't nothing changed. He's still Mr. Failed Businesses. He's still Mr. Misogyny. He's still Mr. I ain't going to let no woman have an abortion. If she do get one, I'm going to lock her up and throw away the key. None of this has changed, ladies and gentlemen. He's still the man who let COVID run rampant and it killed millions of Americans. A lot of them white. How about that? And y'all ain't paying attention. Anyway, so enough of that. Let me calm down. Straighten my tie. Have a good Memorial Day. I want to thank you all for watching Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube. Preferably after this video, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.